Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. Firstly, I wanted to apologize for not posting a video at all last week. It was a very hectic week. I had a bunch of appointments and then I also went into New York City for one entire day. So things just got really crammed and I was not able to do any videos. So I just wanted to say sorry for that. I did miss you all. Usually when people take breaks, they have like a renewed kind of feeling, and I definitely had that feeling, but I really missed not posting. It feels strange to not post. But anyway, let's get into this video. We are going to be doing a bit of a hobby vlog again, which I'm really excited about. Have not done a hobby day since probably that last hobby vlog that you saw a few months ago. So very much looking forward to it. I definitely think it is much needed. I have been stressed over the past, I don't know, 2 months. So let's jump into it. I also want to acknowledge how cute my outfit is. I am obsessed with the boxer short trend. I have a feeling that I'm going to outlive that trend for many years after it dies out because I personally love it so much. So that's what I've got going on at the bottom there. And then I also stole this shirt from Ian. So, you know, just rocking the dad vibe today. Okay, the first thing that I wanted to do was go outside and read, but as you can see, it looks like it's going to be raining, but I just checked outside and it is actually really sunny, nice, and warm, so we're gonna give it a try. But I wanted to show you a quick haul. I feel like I've been doing this far too often for the year thus far, but I got new books, and mostly because there was a sale going on this past weekend, so that's the reason why. But anyway, the first book here, I feel like I have shown this before, and this is the one that I am currently reading. It's less than 200 pages, so I'm hoping that we can go outside right now and get through most of it today. But I also got this book, A Certain Hunger. This has been on my TBR for a really long time, and it was on sale, so I figured I would finally pick it up. Very excited because I think there's a lot of like food writing in here, and I love reading about really lovely descriptions of food, so excited for that one. This one was also on sale. It's called Mother Thing, and I think this one also has a lot of cool food descriptions, but I think it's on the more weird, speculative horror vibe, if that makes sense. I don't know. We'll see. And then this one, I did not anticipate getting this book because I just, I was going to wait it out and it was not on sale, but I got it because I was at McNally Jackson's in Manhattan, and where are we? Here we go. It is signed. So I figured, since this was on my TBR for a while and I stumbled upon a signed copy, I figured I would get it. Oh, that's the AC. Let me speed this up. The last thing is this book. This book is actually for Ian. One of my friends is reading this one and she said it's pretty good. It's a fun thriller, and Ian read Frida McFadden before, so he's willing to give her another try, even though he didn't like the first book that he read, which was The Teacher. Strange book, but hopefully this one is not strange. So that is the mini haul. Now let's take this book outside and hopefully not get rained on. Okay, I am just about at 50% way through this book. I am thoroughly enjoying this. So good. But I did want to take a break and just like walk around for a little bit because I feel the need to. And show you a little bit of a garden update. First of all, the random little shreds of things that are in here, that is Irish spring soap. Someone told me that the smell is really good to deter woodchucks, and update on the woodchucks. They had babies and they are bringing the babies into my yard, so really need to deter them, at least from these beds. So sprinkled Irish Spring everywhere. It kind of dissolved because it rained, so I'm gonna have to put more. But what we have here is cucumbers. Did not expect to grow that, but here we are. That is garlic. That has been growing since last year. These are 2 heirloom tomatoes. Then we have 3 peppers. I think that one is banana peppers, that one is jalapenos. I make a really good pepper sauce using jalapenos, so I wanted to get that again. And then these are I think like those snacky sweet peppers, like, the really small ones. That's what that is. By the way, all of these plants are purchased. They are not my seeds. My seeds did not grow. I'll show you them. But what we have here, I know this is a mess, but what we have here is curly kale, and this is zucchini squash. And then over here, I don't think I showed you all this, but I did a bit of decorating with my greenhouse. Please don't mind the really bad paint job on the greenhouse. I need to clean it up a bit, but this is what we have so far. I'm also going to try and put some string lights. By the way, this is probably random for this video, but I do think gardening is a hobby for a lot of people, including myself, so I figured it would make sense to share it. But anyway, yeah, I did some decorating, got a bunch of flowers to kind of perimeter, does that make sense? Perimeter the greenhouse, and then let's take a look inside. We have my seeds that completely failed. Not a single one, well, maybe that one, but not a single one has been successful. Even over here, I don't know what I did wrong. I think it just got really hot really fast, and so the seeds didn't really have time. I don't know. I'm still holding out on them, but we also have cilantro up here, and then we have basil here. I think those are the only two I'm gonna keep inside of the greenhouse. I'll keep everything else more utility in the greenhouse instead of keeping plants in here, but we'll see how things go with, you know, like the curly kale and the things that woodchucks like to eat, because if things get bad, then I'm going to have to move them into here. But yeah, that's a little garden update for you. I'm not gonna water anything because it's going to rain again, supposedly, but I have been safe thus far, at least when it comes to sitting out here, enjoying the sun and reading. Okay, I think this qualifies as a hobby. I am doing this for the very first time ever, but I saw this person on TikTok basically take their oversized t-shirts that are really nice and loose and baggy width-wise, but are way too long lengthwise, and essentially just turn them into really nice boxy cropped tees. And how they did that was essentially like they cut the bottom of the t-shirt, and then they used this, which is hem adhesive or hemming tape, and then they just ironed it on to kind of like seal the part where you cut. I think this is a hobby because I feel like if we're doing any sort of alterations or anything in the knitting realm or sewing realm, I think that can be considered a hobby. So that's why I'm showing it in this video, and hopefully I do this right and then it'll be helpful. But essentially what the video says to do is put this on, put the t-shirt on, figure out where I'm going to cut, and I'm not going to show you that, so that's why I'm explaining it to you right now. But yeah, I'm going to put this on, I'm going to figure out where to cut, and then we'll take it from there. So let's see. By the way, I have my light on, my overhead light on, because it is now starting to rain, even though it is like 2 p.m. So it didn't rain for a very long time since I was last outside. Okay, anyway, I have figured out how much I want to cut off here. I'm basically going to cut an inch below this, I hope you can see that, an inch below this wording over here. And I guess what the person said to do on TikTok is iron a line across where you want to cut so that it's a straight, like super ironed line and you can physically see that. So it's easy for you to cut afterwards. So let me do that. You can't see this, but I am ironing that crease right now. And I know this looks dangerous because I'm ironing on the bed and not on an ironing board, but I promise you I am being as careful as possible. Now let's cut. I am testing this out with a shirt that I'm okay with getting messed up if, you know, all goes wrong, worst case scenario. I really do want to do this with my thrifted Rocky Mountain t-shirt as well, but that one was actually vintage and thrifted, and I rather test something risky like this out on just a regular cheaper t-shirt. Maybe I cut too much, but this is a lot. This is a lot. To be fair, I'm very short, so it should be okay. But the next thing that I have to do is open up this hem adhesive, and now they said to flip it inside out because that's where you're going to be ironing, is in the inside. For reference, this is what it's looking like right now. It looks extremely short, but reminder, I'm very short. Okay, so this is the front, and I guess I have to do it on both sides, or you know, the back and the front of the shirt. I've never experienced hemming tape before. Take a piece and you do it in segment by segment, and you place it along the edge of the shirt, and then you fold over the shirt. Well, you fold a piece of the shirt over the tape, and then you iron it in segments. So that's what I'm going to do now. I don't really understand how this works. I think I'm getting the hang of this. I'm officially on the opposite side. I ironed the first side. Now I flip it back to the right side, and they said the last thing that you do is just do one last swipe over the edges. From the outside, it looks okay. This is how it looks. I suppose that's how like the hem is supposed to be. The new hem. It's kind of like not perfect on the inside, but it does feel secure. I don't want to tug at it and ruin it. But you know, for my first time, I think it's okay. I'm gonna try it on. Let's see how this goes. Okay, so before, the t-shirt used to be longer than the shorts that I have on right now. It used to go like all the way down here. I don't know if you can see that. This is how it looks now. Definitely looks better than that. Definitely not as baggy, but you will notice that I did miss a spot somehow. Don't know how I did that. But in between there, and I think on the sides I missed, like just the edges. Aside from that, not bad. Okay, I did it one more time just to make sure and, you know, get the practice in, but I did it with this shirt, and I feel like I did this one even better. So I think with practice, you definitely get better, and I'm actually kind of impressed. I don't think this is like something that I would do with all of my shirts, especially like more higher quality shirts, but we'll see how this goes with other shirts that I want to do this with. But for now, I think I like it, and we'll also see how this goes when I wash my clothes, if this kind of like unravels in the wash. I don't know, we'll see. Okay, I think the last thing that I'm gonna do today, hobby wise, I think is do a little bit of sketching. So before I even get into the actual sketching, I did want to share some of these things that I recently got. I found these at a flea market. Our nearby area had like a seasonal spring flea market, and there were tons of vendors, and one of the vendors was selling these like vintage golden guides. These threw me back, and as soon as I saw them, I knew exactly what I wanted to do with them. I wanted to use them as references for when I'm painting, drawing, sketching. I feel like when I use internet references, I quickly get overwhelmed, particularly on Pinterest. So this, I feel like, is something that is going to be just really, really monumental and helpful for me as I continue to learn and develop my, I don't know, my style. I guess I'm still trying to figure out my style, but we can talk about that another time. But what we have is mammals, non-flowering plants. You all know I love my nature type of stuff, so we've got fishing as well. You all know I have been big on fish, reptiles and amphibians, and then we have trees of North America. So they're all nature themed, and I think that's pretty fitting for me. I have my clamp here because when I am using these as references, I essentially like open up to the page. By the way, aren't these illustrations amazing? And then I clamp it open so that I don't have to like constantly have my hand here while I'm sketching. So that's why I have the clamp. And then I will actually show you a couple of sketches that I've already done in this notebook. I'm trying to keep this notebook as low maintenance as possible, no pressure whatsoever. As many messes and silly things that I put in here is going to be okay, because I feel like when I have something a little bit more fancy, something like this per se, the Dingbats notebook, which is gorgeous, I feel like there's a little bit more pressure and I want to put more, I don't know, formal or finalized pieces in there. But anyway, let me show you what we've got. By the way, this is the Muji notebook. It's just a plain notebook that I got from Muji. There's no lines or anything like that in there. Where did I? Oh, here we go. Okay, so of course I started things off with some fish. Again, I made these sketches solely from these books over here. Over here, I did a deer, a male deer. This one, I think is supposed to be like a buffalo of some sort. It looks kind of scary, and I kind of love that. And then this was just some anatomy stuff, which again, looks horrid, but there's no pressure in this book. So it's okay for me to make mistakes or not make something that's perfect. I really just want to get things down on the paper when it comes to this notebook. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. What I love about doing sketches like this, where there's zero pressure and I can kind of scribble as much as I want, is that exactly that. I can scribble as much as I want and it doesn't make me feel like I have messed anything up. And it turns out, shocker, I know, but as I continue to develop and scribble, it ends up looking really, really cool and I end up looking really happy with things. Artists are so pressured to feel like the perfectionism or the greatness comes from somewhere else aside from just practice. And so when you don't do things perfect the first go around, you feel like you just don't have it in you. Do have the artist's way to think for, you know, changing my mentality when it comes to that. It seems like such an obvious thing in hindsight and saying it out loud to you, but when you're in the moment and you're actually trying to do art, that type of stuff that you have to unlearn when you're thinking about it, it can really feel paralyzing. Not perfect, but I do like it. I like it better than many things that I have kind of just settled with in the past. I also have to give a lot of props to like art creators online, because filming and creating at the same time is also paralyzing because I know that I'm being watched. Okay, I ended up just doing this page full of different what is it called? Non-flowering plants. So there's a bunch of random things, mushrooms, and as you can see, I feel like when I give myself far less pressure, I can just churn out things. And I don't know, I don't mean to say it in a way like quantity is more than quality, but the more that I practice, the better that I get, I feel, in my opinion. So, you know, quantity is kind of important in this stage that I'm in right now. And so I'm really able to churn things out if I put the pressure off myself to do things that are not 100% perfect. Imperfect is actually perfect in this sense because it is helping me grow as an artist. So that's I think I'm gonna stop there. Anyway, anytime I'm in here, Logan has to show up, and now I don't know how to get him out because he looks too cozy. All right, friends, we are back where we began, but I am going to end things off here. I don't think I'm gonna do anything else hobby-wise for the rest of the day, so it only makes sense to end the video off here. But one last thing before I go. I was talking to Ian earlier, and we were talking about how like shows and series kind of go on a halt during the summertime. It's just the way that those kinds of things get scheduled out. And so we were discussing summer being our like gaming summer. And so anytime summer comes around, we're gonna just play games in the evening instead of watching TV shows because there's nothing to watch. So that should be interesting, and I will try to document some of that for you throughout the summer season, but I wanted to throw that in here because that is adjacent to hobbies. But thank you so much for checking out today's video. I hope it was fun. I hope it made sense. I know some of the things are random in here, but I felt like they apply to things that are hobby related. So either way, thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I will talk to you in next week's video.